This video entry is for the 2020 toolmaking competition put on by Emma Ritson and Stephen Lang. They have some great entries and a lot of good prizes, so I'll put a link down in the description so you can see the rest of the videos in this competition. If you're looking for some new channels to follow, it's a great place to find them. There's a whole bunch of interesting content and people related to machining and tools.
I've been using a set of these Holdfast on my woodworking bench in my shop. These were just cheap ones. They're Pony brand. I would not recommend them. They are cast and they have a really slippery finish on them. So what that means is, well, first of all, they're brittle and they didn't grab at all in the holes when I first got them because the slippery finish just made them slip right out. So I ground off the finish in here and they worked a lot better. However, since I refinished my workbench and got some linseed oil in the holes, they stopped grabbing. I had to hit them extra hard and broke off the end. And in a rush, I made this one. And first I thought that I did a fine job on this. It seemed to work okay. But then I realized it's got a couple of design flaws. First of all, I didn't have tongs when I made this, so the bends aren't great. So, because I couldn't hold it right, didn't have a vise or tongs set up. So I've got those set up now so I can get better bends. But this being a shallow bend here means that when you hit it down, you're not hitting it in line with the shaft and it tends to bounce out more. And also hitting it back out of the hole, since this is a shallow radius, it's hard to hit it because it's almost, it's just on the curve. Whereas this one was a much nicer shape in that regard. It's straight down in, you hit straight on the back. So having this nice crisp 90 at the top really was better on this cheap one than the one I made. And the other thing is this is a little bit short and stiff. I think that if I made this longer and a little bit flexier, it would hold a little bit better. So I've got some more stock and I'm going to get it turned into another Holdfast. This is a little bit big in diameter, so I'm going to have to forge that down a little bit. On this one I put it in my lathe and turned it down. I could do that again, but I think this one I'm just going to forge it down just a little bit. And I'll probably fix this one as well. So I was just going to try to do this whole thing with the forge and no extra welding. This would have been a lot easier connection here if I just welded it. But there's some stress cracks down in this corner, and those are going to make the end just want to break off. So I am going to weld that there, but first I'm going to take it into my shop and see how well it works. So here I'm just testing out the geometry of this. The end got mushroomed over a little bit, so it doesn't quite fit through the holes very well. But once it's in, fits in nicely and secures down. Releases. Let's see, will it go down all the way? No, so it's also a little bit thick up here. I thought it might have mushroomed out there too, so I need to get this area thinner and that area. But it's getting close. So that's the corner that I welded. I didn't chip any of the slag off. I figured it'll come off when I do more forging on it. But after doing the bending, like I said, there's a couple of stress cracks in there. And that's the perfect place for that to break. So, finished my holdfast. I made this sweep a little bit more. I think it looks a little bit better. And it holds well. Let's see. Yeah, and now I can get it to hold something really thin on the table. Before, it didn't hold anything really thin because this is still a little bit big up here in that area. So having made that other crude holdfast one that I made before I had a pair of tongs, it was very thick in this area, thick and kind of stubby, and that one would release. If you banged on the piece of wood, it would lift up here. So I think with this being more springy, it will help this holdfast stay attached. So normally with something forged like this, I would do a beeswax finish, just get it hot and put beeswax on it. However, I want this thing to grab in the holes, so I probably won't do a finish on it. I might just oil this upper piece or clean it up a little bit and oil it, but I don't want any lube, so I want it to really grab in those holes like it does now. I know it'll polish itself up somewhat from use and then not work as well, but yeah, so there it is. Would have been a lot faster if I had a piece of round stock that was the right diameter. So yeah, it was, the piece I had was close, but not quite. So in the future, I'll definitely try to get the correct size round stock, but this is what I had. I put a little tiny chamfer on all of these edges so that it shouldn't leave very big marks. It still might, so probably be good to put a wooden pad in between. So that's stuck really well now. And then just a quick release, and now it's free. So these things are awesome. If you have a woodworking bench like I do, or probably any sort of bench, yeah, these are great. I would definitely recommend getting or making a set.